Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the Simon Says stream today. How are you guys doing? Now, today we're going to talk about a couple of topics you would have seen in the description there. We're going to talk a little bit about the local voice. So, just yesterday we had, I downloaded the beta version of 2024.12, and that was pretty exciting because at last, the Home Assistant local voice is actually working for me reliably. So, the problem I had with voice before was that it would answer me once or twice, but then after that, it would just sort of go dead quiet and it would just not respond at all. And this seemed to be a regular occurrence since I got it going. So, not sure what the problem was, but they seem to have fixed that. Good morning, Rosby. Welcome, welcome. Where are you from, Rosby? Let me know in the comments there. It would be really great to find out where you're from. What are you running? Do you run Home Assistant? Are you using local voice as yet? Do you use ESP Home? Anything you want to tell us about yourselves? It'll be fantastic to hear, Rosby. And yeah, so carrying on with our local voice. So I did the beta upgrade to 2024.12 and turned on my little S3 Box 3, which is the device that I've been using to run the local voice on. And initially, it just works now. Pretty incredible. The other thing that I did do was I've connected it now to Gemini, Google Gemini in the background. So what's happening now is that instead of it just querying or running information against the Home Assistant database, it can actually go up to Gemini and use that to understand what I'm saying. Rosby's from Arizona, USA. Awesome stuff. Well, glad to hear that the USA is listening in. Run my Home Assistant in a Proxmox cluster. All my automations are Node-RED. I've been using Home Assistant for 6 or 7 years now. Wow. So you're a pro then. I've only been using it for just over 3 years now, Raspberry. And I've just found it amazing. But having been on the platform for 7 years, wow, that must give you a real picture of the growth of Home Assistant and where it's got to. Because just in my 3 years, I've been pretty amazed at how things have gone. But 7 years, you must have seen some amazing things. So yeah, that is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Yep, the more you can tell me, the better. So Proxmox cluster, wow. So I haven't quite gone down any of these sort of container or Docker installs of Home Assistant as yet. Personally, I've run it on a Raspberry Pi 3, a Raspberry Pi 4, Raspberry Pi 5, and an Odroid. So my current system is running on Odroid. It's the unit from Apollo Automation. They're based in Kentucky, I believe, and I'm very happy with that. Let's have a look here. Raspberry, I'm far from a pro. I started out on Raspberry Pi. Dr. Z's was the one that got me into it. Before that, I was using, she should not be named as my automation system, but it was not private. Yeah, so I agree with you totally. Miss A is just sending all her data up to Jeff Bezos, and, well, who knows what he plans to do with that. From what I can see from Paul, apparently, basically, he's going to start charging us, and yeah, who knows what else. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to be done with Miss A, to tell you the truth. She's been put away in her box, hopefully for good. I still have Miss S in my system. And the only reason I'm using Miss S at the moment is that I've got some smart blinds on the way that are running on a Matter over Thread protocol. And the last time I tried Matter over Thread, I had a real battle. Hey there, Johnny. Welcome to the live stream. Great to see you again. Hello there in Upside Down Land. Yep, that's me in the Upside Down. It is already the 1st of December for me. So Christmas tree went up a little bit before December, about a week ago. But yeah, we're in the downhill to the Christmas season now, which is pretty exciting. I'm sure it's starting to get cooler for you guys in the States there. Let's see. Oh, the great Johnny hangs out here. Now I know we're in trouble. You obviously know Johnny Rosby. I love it when I get people on the live stream that know each other and we get some really awesome chat going. Yeah, I'm a big live stream fan. I have a lot of fun with you guys. So yeah, just awesome to see all the banter going on in the live stream. Okay, so yeah, as I say, yesterday, well, the day before actually, I plugged or I upgraded to 2024 to 12, started playing with a little bit, and yeah, I am just blown away with the way that she's talking now. The way that it's going up to Google Cloud is pretty awesome, but I would really like to try out using a local one like Olama and see how that performs. Let's see if we can get it all out of the cloud. That should be quite interesting. Need to add your channel to my live stream announcements in HA. Yeah, that'll be good. I didn't even realize you could have live stream announcements in Home Assistant. That is a good one, Johnny. I shall have to investigate that. Is that a Hex plugin that you're using for that? How do you do that? So, yeah, great idea to have that going on. So anyway, getting back to the old voice control. Now, the challenge I have at the moment with voice is the size of the speaker and the amplifier in the S3 Box 3. So it's extremely soft. Yesterday, I had to chuck my mic right up against the little microphone of the S3 to hear anything. Let's see what Rosby's saying. My problem is I like to do things as easy as humanly possible, but because I'm not very smart, so I try to use ready-made install components, which is not where we're at with AI or voice. I think it's pretty much there in the way of pre-installed ready components. I found it pretty easy to set up, I must admit. All I did was install the add-ons, the Whisper and those little goodies. And yeah, uploading the software to the S3 box was an absolute nightmare, I must tell you. Not for the faint-hearted at all. It took me literally, I think I gave up after the first day and then went back a few times and eventually got it to load. But yeah, loading the software was a disaster. I did try this other little guy, as you say, at the moment. It is in pieces, the Kilkenny. Now, the Kinkini. Now, I have a plan for the Kinkini. The Kinkini is now in pieces. We have the little board here, and we have the speaker, which turned out to be the main problem with this device because the speaker was sitting in here, and it fell off in transit and almost broke everything inside here, but luckily it didn't. So my plan with this Kinkini, excuse me, is to try and get a better speaker and an amplifier working with this. The microphone seems to work pretty well on this device, but this speaker is not anywhere near working. I did try to have a little bit of surgery on a Miss A here yesterday. As you can see, she is in a number of pieces, but because I do like the sound of this device, I got it this far, and then I couldn't get these screws out because they were so deep in, and I tried to drill them out, and I ended up breaking the speaker. So Miss A is well and truly bricked, that one, but some ideas to try and sort out better sound from the uh, AI. AI coming back. Oh, the AI, man, that's amazing. I was doing some questioning of the AI yesterday. Johnny says, yep, Hack's not sure about state though. If fixed some issues and put it on my own GitHub. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm keen to go and have a look at that because I do like the idea of having live stream feeds pop up so I know when my favorite live streamers are. Who are your favorite live streamers, Johnny? I'll be interested to know. I totally agree with you on Dr. Z. Dr. Z was one of the people that I was first just fascinated with when I started getting into Home Assistant. One of the things I like about Dr. Z was he was talking a lot at that time about Sonoff and obviously taking Sonoffs and flashing them with ESP Home. So yeah, Dr. Z, an absolute legend. He's got so much content out there. Love the Hobbit House. All pretty cool. Let's have a look here. Johnny is saying, mine is on johnnybergdahl at youtube.com. Cool. I'm going to copy that, Johnny, so that I can just get into that and we will just paste that in there so I can have a look at that and get that running on mine. Thank you for that. Mine is also supported at the @style channel names. Cool. Johnny, so I'm definitely going to have a look at this and see if I can get this running because I like that idea. I watch Intimate Tech and Bit Looney. Intimate Tech. Yeah, Intimate Tech is pretty good, I must say. I've watched a few of Intimate Tech guy ones and also Bit Looney. He is pretty intelligent. I must admit, a lot of Bit Looney stuff is a little bit over my head at the moment. I do try to figure it out, but it's like pretty crazy. And yeah, as I said to you, I'm pretty much a beginner in this whole thing. Okay, let's see what's coming up here. Unexpected maker. He is an issue. Okay, unexpected maker. Let's just have a look who unexpected maker is here. Unexpected maker. Let's check this out quickly. Unexpected maker. That is interesting. Let's have a look. Unexpected maker. Oh, I will need to subscribe. This one looks pretty interesting. Definitely worth a check out. Totally. Okay, cool. He's an Aussie. Yeah, there's quite a few Aussies out there, I must admit. There are quite a few Aussies on the home automation front. There's quite a few of the guys that I actually tune into as well in Aussie. It's pretty interesting. The guys that I tune into is mainly Aussies. Obviously, US, there's heaps of good ones in the US. One of my favorites in the USA, stupid spell check up. Yeah, spell checkers are no good. One of my favorites in the US, let me just see if I can find him now. This guy is just my best because one of the things is I just love his humor. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, where is he hiding? But don't believe it. I actually have not got him as my featured. I cannot believe this. I will have to go and find him somewhere. Anyway, I've got a lot of favorites. I watch heaps of guys. So, anyway, getting back to voice. Now, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the release of some better voice control devices. Okay. So, yes, they seem to be working now. We've got over that thing of locking up and not carrying on and listening again. Speed obviously is something still taking, I haven't actually counted, but it's probably about 4 or 5 seconds to respond. So a lot slower than what we're used to with our lovely Miss A. But we do have another problem, which is just getting a voice assistant that is going to be nice and loud in its responses. So as I say, I have the plan with this one. I'm not sure if anyone is an electronics genius or knows much about how much power is being outputted out of the speaker and whether that can go as an input to an amplifier or whether it's going to distort. Because what I want to do is take these two wires, plug them into an amp, and then into a nice big speaker with some really good sound. I want to basically build an awesome sounding voice assistant. Yes, I agree totally, Johnny. 4 to 5 seconds is too much. Now, the question is, where is that 4 to 5 seconds taking place? Where is the actual slow point? Is the 4 to 5 seconds... So, for example, what I might try is install so I've got it running on an Odroid at the moment, which is not very fast hardware, but it is really reliable, and that's the reason why I love it so much. But what I might try is running it on a Raspberry Pi 5 instead and see if it improves the speed at all. Raspberry says, are you in the loop of what new hardware is going to be on? Or will you get in trouble if you mention it? No. I have no NDAs with regards to hardware. I do have some other NDAs that I've been signing recently, but nothing in the way of hardware. So, what is coming in the way of hardware? There's two really cool projects in the system at the moment. Oh, the ultra secret assistant. Nah, there's no secrets. There's two assistants that I'm looking forward to. Number one, of course, is Nabocasa. Home Assistant is going to be putting their own voice hardware out, I believe, in 2025. So we haven't seen any glimpses or pictures of us yet. We don't know what's going to be included, what it's going to look like, or anything. But I'm confident that Home Assistant will produce something great. I've got the Home Assistant yellow. I've been very happy with that. They've produced the green and the blue. They've produced some little Zigbee sticks or Matterstick, whatever you call it, thread Zigbee. And I think they're going to do a great job of putting out a piece of hardware. The other one is another guy that is developing. He's got a little team of guys that is developing a super cool looking hardware voice assistant. And I can't remember exactly what his name is, but he's currently got a sort of a Kickstarter going where you can back it. I think it's $69 US. So it seems to have an AI chip inside there. It's got an amplifier. It's going to have a millimeter wave sensor. It's going to have, it looks amazing. So I'm very excited to see those two bits of hardware coming out in the near future, because I think it's going to be just awesome having a good voice assistant. As I say, the 4 to 5 seconds is still a bit too much, but I'm expecting that we will see that coming down. What's really exciting to me is the AI integration and the fact that it is now not hanging. The hanging for me was a real pain, and that's why literally I put my voice assistant away back in the cupboard, and I was waiting for this update that's now happened, because that is awesome. Okay, so that's voice. We've got our hardware coming. We're going to wait till 2025. Now, I'm visiting China in 3 days' time. I'm going to Shenzhen, and what I'm hoping for is that I can find someone over there that is perhaps doing something in the way of a voice assistant, and I can then be talking about that. As I say, there was a lot of interest in this guy, the Ken Coney. The hardware's got a little bit of work to it still. What I would hope with this hardware is that they could improve the case, they could improve the speaker, and get a better sound out of it. I think quality is what's lacking here. This piece over here, the brains of it all, is great. There's nothing wrong with the brains, and they are working perfectly. And what I like about this one, super easy to install. I've done a video on this guy, but all I did was copy the ESPHome code out of their blog, stick it into ESPHome, upload it within a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And yeah, so getting it up and running was super easy. It operates pretty well. It's got some LEDs that sort of come on and off as you talk and things. So this is a great piece of hardware, but it needs some better speakers and things to go with it. So let's see where that all goes. Now, moving on to the next topic that I've been thinking about today. I've been having a lot of questions about ESP Home. So what we're going to do is just have a little bit of a look at ESP Home today, because I've got quite a lot of people who are keen to use ESP Home. They haven't used it as yet, and they're struggling with it. I will do another tutorial on ESP Home soon because I love ESP Home. I think it is literally one of the best things other than Home Assistant. Well, it's included in Home Assistant, but it is a separate topic. So let's switch over. Let me just open up ESP Home over here and let us take a look at ESP Home. Okay. So I will keep flicking back to your questions just to check what's going on. But ESP Home, the beauty of ESP Home is that we have all of these different sensors. So I don't know if you've ever used any of the other platforms, but in the old days, you used to have to download libraries and all sorts of stuff. And it was a huge mission to program microcontrollers. But the advent of ESP Home has just been amazing. It's literally offered us something that is just incredible. So you can go in here. You can see, first of all, the different processors that are being supported here. We've got ESP32, 8266, RP2040, BK, RTL, and other hosts. So ESP32 is the one that I'm going with at the moment. It does all of the different types of ESP32s at the moment, as far as I know. Another new message. Let's go back to our messages. Johnny is saying, I have 42 ESP Home devices. Oh my goodness, that is crazy, Johnny. Please tell us what you've got running on there. Rosby says, I never got into ESP Home, not for any reason other than I've just been using Tasmota since the early days. I have like 80 devices in my house that are all flashed with Tasmota right now. Rosby, I agree with you. Tasmota is fantastic. And yes, it's actually Dr. Z was using Tasmota, wasn't he? That was what his real passion was back in the days. We're talking, what, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. When was ESP Home launched? Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, Tasmota is fantastic. If you haven't tried Tasmota, I would recommend to anyone. I think I'm going to do a video on Tasmota because I think there's a lost art in Tasmota that a lot of people have missed out and then have gone straight onto ESP Home. I think Tasmota is just fantastic. I love the simplicity of Tasmota. It's just amazing, isn't it? Okay, so let's just head back to ESP Home. So my choice of controllers is generally ESP32. I have done some ESP8266s. But honestly, the price of the 32 now is so good that why would you even bother with a 8266? ESP32s, they're literally a couple of dollars. The S3s now, they've just got so much more RAM and processor power. That's why we can do things like voice automation with them. So all you need is an ESP32, 42 devices. Let's have a look here. Mostly sensors, some cheap yellow displays. I even have one running a Geiger counter. Oh my goodness, Geiger counter. That is pretty awesome. I just tested a radon sensor the other day. And is a radar sensor similar to a Geiger counter? I think it could be because it's both measuring some sort of a radiation, isn't it? Good evening, Zane. Welcome to the stream today. Awesome to have you on board. What do you think of ESP Home, Zane? Have you done any ESP Home sensors? I agree. Sensors are the way to go when it comes to ESP Home. Yes, you can create things like buttons and relays in that, but sensors to me are the most awesome things. So let's have a look at what are some of the sensor components that are available. So this has been one of my real passions at the moment is air quality. So um, I've been sent a couple of air quality sensors from Apollo, which are preloaded with ESP Home, which is awesome, makes them so simple. But yeah, they've got particulate. Particulate's pretty interesting. For example, it's quite interesting when I walk into my bedroom, or even if I get out of bed in the morning, the moment my feet touch the floor, and yes, I do vacuum, I have a RoboVac that is doing the job, Roborock actually. But the moment my feet hit the floor, the dust pops up, and I see that on my particulate sensors. Pretty interesting. Um, is anyone saying anything? No, no. Let's just get back here. Yeah. So what other sensors we've got? We've got multi-channel gas. Yeah, gases are pretty interesting. One way to test your gas sensors, if nothing else works, spray some aerosol deodorant. You'll see every single gas go through the roof. Makes you think, what are we doing to ourselves when we spray ourselves with deodorant? Perhaps not the best thing. Zane says, yes, I did a few humidity and temperature sensors, soil sensors, and of course, Bluetooth proxy. Who can forget Bluetooth proxy? Just one of the best things that I've ever come across. And I now have it in my Shelly devices as well. Shelly now has Bluetooth built in, so that if I have a Shelly sitting behind a wall switch, Gen 3 now has Bluetooth, and the proxy is built in. So, and also the Apollo Christmas tree also has a proxy built in. So yeah, it's great to see that double use of. And one ESP cam for my 3D printer. Oh yes, Zane. Yep, I recently just got into 3D printing. Just love. I'm assuming. Are you running Octoprint, Zane? Octoprint. Oh my goodness, that is just another one of the best users of a Raspberry Pi ever. Just got into 3D printer. I've got a real cheap one from Creality, but by having the Octoprint, it's allowing me all of that Wi-Fi that I can just send prints to my machine. I can monitor them. I can see the webcam and everything. So yeah, ESP cams are pretty cool. Literally one of my most popular watched videos ever was the ESP cam. Can you believe it? People love the idea of the ESP cam. How well is your ESP cam working? From what I can see, they can work really well, especially I would think for something like a 3D printer. That would be awesome. So having a look back at our sensors, so we've got CO2. CO2 has been one of my favorite sensors as well. CO2 is pretty awesome. And I unfortunately couldn't connect my anchor make. Oh, bugger. That's a shame, Zane. I thought it worked pretty much with any type of printer. That is a real shame. I was lucky enough to be sent a really cheap Ender 3, and it literally just worked with my Ender. So honestly, the Enders are so cheap now. It's just amazing. But yeah, I thought it worked with all of them. So that's interesting. Raspberry is saying, I use Shelly plugs as my proxies all over the house. They're great. Yeah, Raspberry. Honestly, Shelly is another manufacturer I'm just crazy about. I've recently been testing. I did the Shelly wall, and unfortunately, Shelly wall displays only 220 volts. Otherwise, I would really be recommending to you guys in the US. But yeah, unfortunately, 220. Oh, well, you could use it. You guys do have 220 as well. I forgot that on certain of your for your washing, your dryers and stuff, eh? Octoprint, he says, while I literally just fire up a printer start. There we go, Johnny. Awesome. Yeah, Octoprint, that was just when I got my printer and I suddenly heard about Octoprint. I was just blown away by the software. The lady that's developed that honestly needs a medal of note. Remind me, I actually need to give some money towards Octoprint because I think that is just amazing. Because I mean, these days, obviously, the new bamboos and that they've got so much connected technology that maybe you don't need Octoprint, but certainly for the older ones like mine or the cheaper models, it's an absolutely awesome thing. Okay, so let's just have a look at some more of those sensors. So CO2, as I say, really interesting. Particulate, really interesting. IQ core, I don't know what they're, the MHZ19. This is a great little sensor. I've done one of these. Gas concentrations. One of the things that I do want to try is an airflow sensor. I see that there is one available from, there's a radon sensor. That's pretty cool. Got some more chat messages here. What is Zane saying? I tried to use Shelly UK plug as a Bluetooth proxy, but couldn't find any new devices. Maybe something wrong. Now, Zane, what you do need to bear in mind is that it does have to be a Gen 3 in order to be used as a proxy. And then there does seem to be some limitation as to which Bluetooth devices it is picking up. I have found that sometimes there's some devices that for one reason or another are not being picked up by the Shelly plug, which are being picked up by a generic ESP32 that I create as a Bluetooth proxy. So not quite sure why that is, but yeah, when it works, it's super great just to have it as a working inside your light switch and picking up all those. I think Bluetooth is great for sensors, really. It's just continually beaming out that message and we're picking it up and pulling it into Home Assistant. Johnny says, just realized I have Shelly dimmers in my wall switches. So just check, Johnny, if they are Shelly dimmer, whether it's generation 3. I don't think the Gen 1 and 2 can do Bluetooth, or at least not the proxy. So I'm not sure about that. So getting back here, what other sensors have we got here? Temperature and humidity, ozone, yeah. Sense air. What else have we got? Particulate, air quality, CO2, volatile organic compounds. Seems to be most of it. Another thing that I really enjoy sensing is I don't know where I've put it now. Yeah, I must have put it away somewhere. Anyway, I really like weather monitoring. And at the moment, oh, awesome. So you've got Gen 3s. Just moved into the house in August and you've got Gen 3 Shelly dimmers. Fantastic. Yeah, well, there we go. You've got Bluetooth proxies all over the place. There's a little switch that you need to switch on just to make sure that it's polling. If you go, I've got a video on Shelly that I did recently talking about the Gen 3, and it shows the little slider that you need to switch on in order to enable the Bluetooth polling on your Shellys. Zane is saying, at Atham ESP32 M5 stack working perfectly. ESP32 M5 stack. Okay. Is that the one you're using for your voice assistant, Zane? I did try that M5 stack one and I couldn't get it working for some reason. It just didn't want to load up. Give me a sec. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more water. There we go. Sorry about the little break. So, yeah, it's a lot of talking in these live streams. If any of you ever want to come on as a guest on my live stream, that would be fantastic. You can do some of the talking as well. So pop me a message in my email if you do want to do that. All right, so let's just get back to our little sensors here a little bit more and see what else we've got. So air quality, a great, awesome topic to be looking at. Analog sensors, this is interesting. Multiplexers, this I'm assuming is for integrating with other systems. For example, you might want to integrate with a Zane, okay. You're using it just as a Bluetooth proxy. Yeah. It'll work fine for that. But I don't know if you remember when the Home Assistant guys originally started talking about voice, they had that tiny little M5 stack. Little one is like 1.5 centimeters or 2 centimeters. by 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters, a tiny little block. That was the first voice assistant that I tried, and I could not get that working for the life of me. So, yeah, good that you've got yours working as a Bluetooth proxy. That is fantastic. So, just having a look, what else have we got? Bluetooth low energy. Okay, so there's a whole heap of these. I've used the Mi Flora, they work pretty well. One downside of the Mi Flora, so when you're measuring soil moisture, for example, the Apollo soil sensors, they measure 100% when you water them, and they go down to 0% when you take it out. Problem with the little Mi Floras is the maximum seems to be like 30%. I'm not quite understanding where they get that number. Other than that, they work all right. But yeah, they never measure. I must actually test mine in water again and see what happens. But yeah, certainly in the soil, they don't measure 100%. So BLE sensors, yeah, BLE pretty awesome as well. Okay, what else have we got? Digital signals, distance sensors, okay, acoustic. Have you guys tried this little ultrasonic sensor? That's quite a lot of fun. IR, optical distance. That's another interesting one to try. Electricity. Okay, so we've got voltage and current and power. I must admit, power monitoring for me is awesome. I'm currently using the Sonoff power monitoring system. I've just got it on 2 of my channels at the moment. I've got one on my main power, and I've got one on my hot water heating power. So I've got a little CT clamp running through a Sonoff device, and that's polling into my system. That is working incredibly well, I must admit. So yeah, energy monitoring for me is just what I like about energy monitoring as well is if I go to work, I'm a bit OCD and I think I've left the stove on, I can immediately just open up my energy monitor. I can see how much power I'm using, and that will tell me immediately whether I have got left the stove on or not. I have the white Mi Flora Bluetooth one. Ah, cool, Zane. So with yours, Zane, when it's in the plant, does it read 100% when you water the plant? Or do you find also that the percentages are really low? I'll be really interested to know if it's just my ones that are operating like that. I do like the compact size of them, and the Bluetooth seems to be pretty low energy. The buttons, everyone complains about the button cells. Yeah, they can be a little bit painful having to constantly replace those button cells. The one from Apollo has got now it's got the big rechargeable cell in it, 18650 cell, which is quite an interesting one because that is playing with sleep in ESP Home. Has anyone played around with sleep in ESP Home? It was quite a learning curve for me, I must admit, trying to figure out how to set it up and things. I couldn't get it working, but it seems like the Atham guys have figured it out. Sorry, Apollo, not Atham. I'm confusing the two now. The Apollo guys have really figured out this the sleep system with ESP Home, and it's working really well. It's coming on once every 12 hours, measuring the moisture, and then switching off again. And the battery life looks amazing. Yes, if overfill water, it will show 100%. Okay, Zane, that's good. I must check mine again. I can't remember. I just always seem to remember that they never showed 100% for some reason, but I'm glad that they're working really well for you. All right, let's just go back and look what other type of sensors we have. We've got a whole lot of electricity ones, all sorts of different sensors around electricity. We've got environmental sensors, they're calling, so moisture sensors, temperature and pressure. Pressure is really interesting, I must admit. Looking at barometric pressure, you can tell why the old sailors used to use it for seeing or predicting the weather. It was just amazing when a storm is coming, you just see that falling of the barometric pressure, and you know very quickly that you are going to be having a storm. So I love watching barometric pressure. Super interesting. Johnny is saying here, let's just have a look. I have 24 Mi Floras at the moment. 4 new waiting for pickup. Wow. You're a big fan of Mi Flora, Johnny. That's amazing. They should be giving you a medal for buying so many. Now, are you just using those inside plants, or do you use them outside as well? As far as I know, I'm not sure about the water resistance in total of that. Oh, Shelly does not have Bluetooth. Ah, that's a shame, Johnny. Yeah, that is a real pain, isn't it? So you have to get, and all of yours are dimmers. Yeah. Ah, well, maybe just get, maybe you've got a light somewhere that doesn't need dimming, just on off, and then put one of the 1 p.m. Gen 3s, and then you'll have a Bluetooth proxy available. All right, Zane. I had a DIY irrigation system, and for some reason, it was keeping watering the plants even after I turned it off, and all my sensors were showing 100%. Oh my goodness. Well, at least was it an indoor? Was the irrigation system for indoor or outdoor? Because if it was indoor, you would have had a big problem. If it's outdoor, you're fine because you're just wasting water, but you're not flooding your house. So, I recently tested the Sonoff valve. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a Zigbee based garden irrigation valve. It is on a battery, it uses penlight batteries, and that looks pretty cool. I've tested, works great. It's also, they've got a soil sensor that you can use with it. So that is pretty cool. Only on inside plants. They do have some water protection. I agree. I wouldn't trust it either, Johnny. I think it is limited to indoor. Why? You like your indoor plants. Waiting for a big Shelly order. Loads of Gen 3. I'm switching out all of my wall switches. Really? Why are you switching away from the dimmers, Johnny? Please let me know. Yeah, I'll be interested to know because are you not worried about dimming? You just want on and off? Or have you had any issues with the dimmers? Interested to know why you're switching away from dimmers, or if you're just adding additional switches to your lighting system over there. Yeah, I like dimmers. I must admit, I haven't really got many dimmers. I've got mainly just Shelly 1 PMs at the moment, and then I've got a couple of smart switch or smart lights. Some of those sort of dish bowl type lights with the LEDs inside, color and Zigbee. Those are pretty cool. I'm really happy with that. Luckily, it was outside, but I still want to build a good irrigation system. Yeah, totally, Zane. I mean, honestly, for me, the Sonoff one worked really well, and it's quite cost effective. It's got the unit that gets connected to your tap, and then they have got soil sensors that you can use as well. I think the soil sensor itself is waterproof, but you would need to connect it to it connects to a device. So you basically need a long, or just use other soil sensors. There are some outdoor soil sensors that are waterproof. Johnny's saying, I use Zigbee dimmable lights, so only use dimmers on built-in stuff that I can swap out. Zigbee dimmable lights. Okay. Yeah, totally. So then just swap it out. What I've started doing, I've just used the little buttons on my wall. So I'm using little Zigbee buttons that I can put at my wall switch where I've got a Zigbee light that I control. And then I just use the button and then I don't switch it off. Let's see. This is a project for spring automation watering outside. Yeah, totally. I mean, we're coming to spring now. So I need to do some gardening. I don't have anything to water at the moment. The grass here in New Zealand gets well enough water with just the rain that's coming down. So no need to water that. But if I'm going to make I want to make a big sort of raised planter bed out the front, and that will probably need some watering. So I'm definitely keen to build an outdoor. I saw another outdoor watering system recently, or didn't see it. I heard it on a podcast, a home automation podcast that I was listening to, which is awesome. It's a new system that they've launched. Basically, it's a battery-powered system, I think, and it connects up to your tap, and it's got multiple outputs that have got your little some sort of a thing that's a valve that's changing the water flow. So let's just get back to having a look at what other ESP sensors there are available. Temperature and humidity, always a good one. The DHT, and not too unreliable. I mean, reasonable for the price. Really not bad at all. Now this one looks quite cool. The Hydrian rain sensor. I've had a look at one of these. I think it's a pretty expensive sensor, but rain, they normally work with the tipping cup, but this one is actually working with the, I think it's with the haptic sort of feedback, which is apparently much better. Problem with the tipping cup is you have to get quite a lot of rain before it starts telling you that you've got rain. So I might try one of these Hydrian sensors. Let's see if we can find these Hydrian sensors. Hydrian, there we go. Okay, $60 US for Hydrian sensor, so quite expensive. Tipping buck replacement, wiper control, drop detection, irrigation control, and condensation sensing. Yeah, so I quite like the idea of this type of Hydrian rain sensor. That looks pretty cool. CO2, temperature, pressure. Well, you know, I've done quite a lot of work with the pressure sensing. Pressure is always good. Pretty interesting to see what's going on with the pressure. Okay. Oh, there's our Hydrian sensor. So it's got a lens. It's got LEDs on board, on when out, printed circuit board housing screws. So this little Hydrian system looks quite cool. I actually might try one of these. I think this is quite a awesome, interesting looking little sensor. I think I might be ordering one of those and give it a bash and see what is going on there. Okay, so let's see what other sensors we've got here. We've got the Sension. Now, Sension is a really quality sensor. They do the particulate sensors, really good quality stuff, quite expensive, but great quality. Let's see what else we've got here. Temperature, pressure, light. So lux and lumen sensors, these are pretty cool. You can control your blinds and things using these sensors. What else have we got here? Magnetic. Okay. Magnetic is quite interesting. The Hall sensors, quite useful. I see that you can use them for sensing on a water meter. So apparently there's a magnet inside there. I wouldn't mind trying one of those, except my water meter is quite a long way. Then we have various other sensors here. Let's see, miscellaneous storm lighting, duty timer. It's just amazing the number of different sensors. Good old Tuya. Yeah, I'm sort of avoiding Tuya at the moment. Not my best friend. Wind speed, wire guard, motion sensors. Yep. Thermocouples. Yep. Weight sensors, load cells, binary components, capacitive touch, mechanical sensors, NFCs. NFCs are pretty cool. You can do a lot of interesting stuff with NFCs. Then they have the touch screens as well. This is quite interesting. So if we look at a touch screen, let's just see. So this is the S3 Box 3. The GT911 touchscreen controller allows using the touchscreen controller based on the chip. That's very interesting. So there's an ESPHome device that will actually allow you to communicate via a touchscreen back into your Home Assistant. That is super interesting. What's Johnny saying? Let's have a look. Lol, installed a millimeter wave sensor in the lab. Now keeps the lights on because it detects the 3D. That's pretty cool, Johnny. Yeah, that's interesting. So you've got your 3D printer moving around and there's heat involved and your millimeter wave is saying that someone is in the room because your sensor's running. Oh, yeah, that's a crack up. Pretty interesting. So let's get back here. Let's just have a look. So binary. So anyway, I'm quite interested to try this at some stage. Using the touch screen from here and then pushing back into Home Assistant via this ESP Home component. Presence detection. Obviously, there's so many different presence sensors available. Has anyone tried a presence sensor, the 60 megahertz? So I've been trying the 24 megahertz one, but has anyone tried the 60 megahertz presence sensor for a sleep or a fall detection? I'll be interested to know because I'm quite keen to try a 60 megahertz or megahertz, yeah, to see the difference and see what I can actually start measuring there. So it's got some other miscellaneous ones here. We've got alarm control panels that we can integrate. Audio, so DACs, that's pretty cool. Audio DAC core. So this is meaning that you can, I'm assuming, setting volume and that for home audio. So home audio is, what's Rosby saying? Christmas tree keeps turning on my millimeter wave sensor in my kitchen. Oh, no. Yeah, Christmas time. I've got a cat, and she's doing all sorts of things. Now, she turns on my millimeter wave sensors, funny enough. I was interested to see whether you could tune them to avoid a small body like that, but haven't managed to get that right as yet. So, yeah, Christmas trees turning on millimeter wave sensors. That's pretty interesting. All right. So Dax, yep. Is anyone using Music Assistant? I see Music Assistant is now available. I believe there were some problems with 2024.11, but with 12, they're now available again. So that is quite cool. Yeah, music is a very good, interesting topic with home automation. Then we've got the button components. We've got climate components. I certainly love having my heat pump connected to my home automation. Cover components, so we can talk to the different cover controllers. Display components. So we can even render displays through ESPHome. Wow, this is just amazing. Addressable lights. Okay, so you can use ESPHome, not WLED, to address your lights. Okay. Even the Me thermometer display is in ESPHome now. BLE tracker. Oh, very interesting. Wow, ESPHome is just amazing what they're bringing in. So they've got all these displays that you can, electromechanical, so all sorts of keyboards, buzzers, servos, steppers. Wow, ESPHome never. Music Assistant has a track record of 2 years introducing new bugs. Not sure they will ever deliver a stable product. Well, that's a shame. Yeah, I will give it a try again. I did play with it once. I need to install version 2 now and see whether it's how it's working. But I must admit, I don't really use whole home audio that much. So, yeah, not too worried about that quite at the moment. Let's see what else. Energy, solar management. Any of you guys use solar power? I don't at this stage. Event core fan components. So controlling the speed of a fan. I'm assuming that's using PWM. Yeah, controlling PWM fans. That is pretty awesome. Let's see what else they're controlling. Home Assistant components, so proxy, micro wake word, switch sensor number, text, voice assistant, light components, binary, monochromatics, lock components, media players, microphones, so your different microphones, numbers, output components. Wow. It's just unbelievable how much is available here. Selecting speaker components, switch components, text components. Does this ever end? Time, touch screen, some more touch screens that we've got in here. Oh my goodness, this is just unbelievable, all this new stuff that they've been adding into ESPHome. What is Johnny saying? Google for cheap yellow display for a nice device to use. Let me check this out. Cheap yellow display. I must admit, I've never heard of this. Let us see what this cheap yellow display is. Cheap yellow. This little guy. Now, that is very interesting, Johnny. I actually looked at one of these the other day on AliExpress, and I was thinking of pressing the go button on this, but I didn't. These things are cheap as chips, hey? And they are 52% off on our Black Friday special. That's pretty cool. So it's a 2.8-inch Wi-Fi Bluetooth display, touch display. That is really awesome. I am going to order one of these guys and see what I can do with it. This looks like a lot of fun, I must admit. So, Johnny, what are you doing with this exactly? I'll be really fascinated to know how you've hooked this up and what you are using it for, because that is just a really crazy price, I must say. That is cheap, 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 and looks like a pretty fun little device. Cheap yellow display. Wow. I'm just, as I say, I'm going to China next week, and I just can't wait to see what other devices I can find. I mean, we see them all on AliExpress and stuff, but you have to order them in and then try them out. But to actually go to the SEG market in Shenzhen, China, walk around and touch and feel all these products and see what they've got there. Hopefully I can, let's see, Johnny, I display the state of my plants. Ah, okay, so you're using it as the display for your plant status of the moisture levels. That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to order one of those, Johnny, because that looks like a lot of fun. And how are you controlling it? Are you using ESP Home to control that? Let me just go in here and check here. Cheap yellow. Let's see if it comes in. Does cheap yellow come up under ESP Home? Nothing seems to be happening for some reason. Let's just see a cheap yellow home display. Home Assistant. There we go. There's a whole lot of information about it. Let us see here. I am setting one up now for a bus departure schedules. Okay, cool. So you've got these little devices all over your house just showing you this display. That is awesome. And for the price, that's amazing. My plan at the moment is to take, I'm busy installing the, the Shelly wall display for me is an awesome device. And I'm starting to use Shelly walls display as a light switches, in which case I can display a screen in each room. And I'm going to do a very similar thing to you. I've got things like weather displaying or plant status or CO2 status. I really like the idea of having a little screen in each room telling me what's going on in that room. Can't post links here, but GitHub witness me now, and the repository name is ESP32 yellow display. Cool. I will check this out. I think this is it anyway. Yep. I've got it here. Cheap yellow display. Time and temperature on OLED display. Temperature setting up. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's the little OLED ones here. Display component. ESPHome. The docs you got you covered are the display component ones. Let's just check here. ESPHome's powerful rendering and display engineering. Fundamentally, there are three types of displays. 7-segment displays, Nextian. Now, Nextian looks quite cool. Dr. Z's likes his Nextian. And then there's the e-ink. E-ink is pretty cool, or e-paper. I like those. Configuration variables. I think I must try this display rendering engine. This looks pretty cool. Is this what you're using, Johnny? Obviously, you can display colors. You can display all sorts of things, drawing static text, formatted text. Wow, this is just amazing. ESPHome just never fails to amaze me. Witness Menou is Brian Lowe. He also runs a Discord where people help with that display. Ah, cool. Witness Menou. Let's see if I can find that. Let's type that into good old Google. Brian Lowe, Witness Menou. There he is. Good man. I really appreciate people that are creating GitHub repositories for us. I wish I was clever enough to be able to do these sort of things, but I'm a long way away. There we go. Cheap yellow display. That is legendary. Look at that little guy. He's even got some band titles, which he is displaying via his ESP32 with a built-in LCD display. Oh my goodness. So the yellow display, the cheap yellow, has actually got a, oh, where's my cheap yellow gone? It's disappeared. So the cheap yellow has actually got an ESP32 built in there as well. Oh yeah, dev board. No, I'm hitting the go button on one of these. I didn't even see it had the ESP behind it. I'm hitting go on this right now because this is just super cool. I cannot wait to get this. That is a lot of fun. I will put a bookmark on Mr. Witness Menou right now so that I can come back to this when I get back from a holiday, and then this device will have arrived from AliExpress. I'm going to give us a bash. That is super cool. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that I found it tedious to write all C++ code inside of the YAML editor, so I moved much of the code into an external file. Wow. Well, that is way out of my pay grade, unfortunately. I am no programmer or anything like that, but I love playing with other people's bit of code, sometimes cutting and pasting little bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm really happy that you can do that, Johnny, and I am so keen. Thank you really for telling me more about that device. I saw those cheap yellow displays ages ago, and I thought, I'm never going to be able to figure this out. But now I know that there is some really good information in the background. Anyway, guys, it's been really great live streaming again this morning with all of you. And unfortunately, my voice is about to give up. So if anyone wants to join me on the next live stream, please let me know. Get you on the stream so that we can, I can give a bit of a break and you can chat a bit as well. It would be awesome. But anyway, thank you so much for everyone's time today. It's always fantastic to see how people just come on these live streams without me even promoting them up front. I turn on and people turn up. Thank you, thank you, thank you once again. Thank you everyone for joining in the chat today. Johnny, Zane, Rasby. Who else did we have today? Yep, that's it. You guys have really made this show absolutely fantastic. It's been a real pleasure chatting to all of you, and I hope you all have a super morning, evening, night, whatever it is on your side of the world. And yeah, keep creating great content like that Witness Menou. And yeah, please drop me a line and let me know if you've got anything cool like this that I can talk about. Johnny is just saying here, samples are in the ESP examples ESPHome folder. Fantastic. I'm really going to check this all out because, yeah, I just love the idea of displays. Honestly, I have so many displays in my house at the moment. It is crazy. Yeah, luckily I don't have to deal with anyone else living with me. Well, Allah, my son is living with me when he's here, but he's a techno guy as well. So he enjoys all the screens and all the electronics that I put together. So yeah, I don't have to try too hard on that angle. But yeah, it's been fantastic chatting to everyone this morning. Hope you guys have a super time. I will be going offline in the next day or so because I'm visiting China and I'm visiting Bangkok. I'm going to check out some technology while I'm over there. I will shoot some film while I'm over there and bring you some interesting video footage from the SEG market in China. I'm also going to be catching up with the guys at Reolink. So that's going to be pretty cool. Reolink's doing some awesome stuff. I'm really keen to find out a little bit more about the AI technology that's coming to rear link cameras. As you can see at the moment, they've got some really close integration with Home Assistant. And I think that rear link and Home Assistant and AI, you link those three things together, you're going to have some pretty powerful tools. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now before my voice gives in. Hope you guys have a super time, and we'll chat again in the future. Bye for now.